Okay, so chapter 13 of Keep Me by Sara Cate. It's party time, folks! And you know what happens at parties? Drinking games! Yeah! So basically, everyone gathers around. They've been talking for a bit. They start playing the drinking game. Never Have I Ever. For all of you who don't know, basically, something gets said like the first thing Killian brings up: "Never have I broken into someone's house." If you have, you take a drink. If you don't drink. That's simple. Okay. Um, there's really nothing much to this. You just see Killian's perspective of, Sylvie and trying to annoy her, and you know but he's also mindful of the fact that he's been drinking a lot and he's scared to, give out secrets. And he's also watching Liam because Liam has eyes for Sylvie. And I'm telling you, write it down, folks. Next couple of chapters, Liam is taking it in the face. Pop! He's getting popped. It's coming. Anyhow, there is something else. He gives the names of his friends and their wives. I'm not going to feel the need to name them unless it's important. Something going on with Angus and Claire. Okay? Killian describes Angus as the smartest in the group, and him and Claire apparently have been married the longest as well. Okay? But during the drinking game, Killian goes, never have I ever been cheated on. Okay? He doesn't take a drink because, in his mind, he hasn't had a real relationship. So, you can't be cheated on that aspect. Sylvie, of course, we remember that her dude, Aaron. Okay, I think it's Aaron. Aaron. We remember that her dude cheated on her. Okay, and then then comes the part where Killian notices that Angus and Claire don't drink. He doesn't mention why this is a big deal, but it also says that Killian does not make eye contact with Claire. And he does that twice. So I'm thinking something's up. But we don't get into it. So at the end of the night, Killian he's like, all right, me and Sylvie are going to bed because he notices that Liam is sliding in. He's getting really close. And, so he's like, yeah, you're coming with me, and also you're sleeping in my room tonight, This is, of course, spoken privately because no one else knows that this is a farce, so this is a sham, but Sylvia is at first hesitant, but in the end she relents. Now, this is interesting. They go into the bedroom. Killian locks the door. They get in there. He locks the door. He turns around, and he sees that Sylvie's scared. She's nervous. There's shock on her face. She's uncomfortable. And, Killian goes, okay. And he says sorry. And he unlocks the door. So we see a little bit that he's caring about Sylvie's feelings. And this will continue on after they get into the bed. And he feels that, they're not touching one another. Okay. But Sylvie's shaking. And he notices this. And it irritates him, not because of her, but because of, she's scared of him. And he asks, are you really that afraid of me? And she's like, no, hell no. And then a little, then she's like, I'm not, But he can tell she's shaking. And that's bothering him. We're starting to see that Killian's really not a bad guy. This might just all be an act, and hopefully it will continue on in the next chapter. But until then, that is the end of the current one.